Hey, what's up, gentlemen and ladies? Happy Independence Day to the Dominican Republic. Way to go, guys. So today, there was actually a brand new interview with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tetsuya Nomura. You guys may recall that a couple days ago, or like a week ago at this point, there was a couple screenshots revealed for the Final Fantasy VII Remake, as well as Kingdom Hearts 3 at an event called Magic 2017. And turns out that the website Final Fantasy Dream was actually there, which may I just point out, I love anytime that I hear about Final Fantasy Dream, simply because they're a French website, and anyone who knows me knows that I am obsessed with France. Regardless, they, as well as Finland, KH Island, and Gamers Flag, got to sit down with Nomura and talk to him about a bunch of stuff, including the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3, and just, you know, his general process behind making games and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys do want to check out the full interview, you will be able to find it in the description. However, there was 3 quotes by Nomura that I wanted to bring to your attention specifically, all having to do basically with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, with one exception really. And that one exception is basically Nomura telling us why he is so like anti-social media and why he doesn't like basically ever tell us anything at all. So with people like Hajime Tabata, he would show up to events constantly and he would always be asking people, what do you want to see in the game? Would you like to see this? Here, try this out. Is it good? If not, do you think that we should change it? Here's a survey for Final Fantasy 15. And Nomura in the interview actually said that while he does think that it's good that some developers talk to fans and that kind of stuff, it kind of derails you from your original vision and it becomes sort of a chore. Like, it limits your creativity, and at that point you're basically not making your game, you're making a game that the fans want, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but this basically explains a lot of why Nomura does the things that he does. That being said, he did say that from time to time he still does read reviews and that kind of stuff, so it's not like he completely ignores his guys, but you know, it's Nomura we're talking about here. Now, in regards to the Final Fantasy VII Remake, he got a question from Final Fantasy Dream that basically asked if the remake was going to keep like the original the feeling or mood or whatever you want to like call it from Final Fantasy VII. And Nomura basically just went straight out and said, yes, a lot of things are going to change in this remake. Like, it's gonna be basically a whole different thing. However, the universe and the essence of everything will still remain the same. That is one of the things that they wanted to keep intact for the remake. So even though there is going to be a lot of changes just to the overall, I'm assuming, storytelling, because gameplay like that's a completely different topic. Even so, at its core, it's still going to be Final Fantasy VII, and we can expect it to feel like Final Fantasy VII, unlike, you know, Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy Versus 13 that were practically 2 completely different games. But let's not get into that right now, shall we? However, the most important thing that actually came out of this interview, in my opinion, is one very specific question from Gamers Flag, actually. And this is actually like so big. I'm gonna go ahead and read out the entire thing to you guys, okay? So they asked, would it make sense for you to create an HD remaster of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII? So like before Crisis, Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, all the spin-off ties to Final Fantasy VII, or a unique platform like you did with Kingdom Hearts. Beyond the possibility of making it, would you like to do this? And then Nomura answered, concerning the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a title loaded with mystery for now, and you got that right, Nomura, it will be different from the original Final Fantasy VII. If we make a compilation, those games will hardly have an overall coherence. It will be difficult because there is no more continuity between the compilation and the remake for the moment. What? So hold on. You're telling me that the Final Fantasy VII Remake is starting a completely different continuity to Final Fantasy VII? This is huge, because this absolutely confirms that they are changing a lot more than we had initially thought. That, coupled with the fact that Nomura outright said that yes, there is going to be a lot of changes, how much exactly are they going to change? Like, I'm not worried about the remake. I'm sure that Nomura will do a great job, but I'm more so just shocked than anything else. Like, I would have expected it to be a remake of Final Fantasy VII, not like a completely different retelling. And to say that it's not going to be canon with all of the compilation is just holy shit. I know that there's a lot of people that basically wanted a practically one-to-one recreation of Final Fantasy VII just on 3D in the PS4, but sadly from this it looks like that's not what we're gonna be getting, from the looks of it anyways. And I know that a lot of people were kind of hoping that in some way they would incorporate incorporate all of the spin-offs, I guess you could call them, from Final Fantasy VII into the remake. Like, I made a video talking about how they could have Final Fantasy VIII Laguna-style flashbacks, except where you get to play as Zack, for example, in some of the parts of the remake. Obviously, it probably wouldn't be in the first part of the remake, but maybe in some of the ones later down the line. And then maybe there could be like a secret playable episode at the end of the final part for Advent Children or Dirge of Cerberus, because Dirge of Cerberus, if you guys recall, did not actually really finish. I mean, it did, but it had like an after credits secret scene that sort of left it in a cliffhanger, and to this day they have not resolved that. That game came out in 2006, and I was kind of hoping that the remake in some way would finish that, but from the looks of it, this is gonna be a completely different story. To be fair, this could actually be a translation error, because obviously, like I said, the website is a French website, and then obviously the interview was in Japanese because Nomura speaks Japanese, and then between those two and then being translated into English, it's absolutely possible that this is not like 100% confirmation, that there may have been a little something lost in translation around there. But even so, the idea is still there, and Nomura himself said that they're not really planning on making another compilation series for the remake itself, which that I'm actually kind of glad about, I'm not gonna lie. Because if you guys recall, I've talked about this several times in the past, but there was basically this thing that they said where Final Fantasy VII was going to be a 20-year-long project, all the way from 1997 to 2017, which was the 20-year anniversary for the game. And anything and everything related to Final Fantasy VII was going to come out within those 20 years. So we got Advent Children, Before Crisis, Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, the Final Fantasy VII anime that I can't remember the name of right now, and all that kind of stuff, which was all fine and good, but then the remake was announced, and we were like, okay, well, maybe it could come out in 2017, we don't know, but then it was announced that it was going to be split into multiple games, and I really doubt that they're going to get all the parts out this year. However, there's a very strange technicality if you really think about it, because they did say all Final Fantasy VII related media, and if this is like basically restarting everything all over again, technically it's not part of the original Final Fantasy VII, but rather, again, a completely different, completely new, separate universe that just happens to sort of retell the same story as Final Fantasy VII with some changes. This is very interesting in my opinion, and honestly, I don't think that we're gonna find out that much about it until we actually get our hands on the game, because we're not really gonna be able to tell that much about the story just from the trailers, unless we outright just start seeing stuff that did not happen in the original, which I doubt they would put something that big in trailers. This isn't like Tabata with Type 0 HD that we're talking about. Hopefully they don't spoil anything too big, like people getting shot in the damn trailer. Good job, Tabata. Regardless though, I guess, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. Do you think that it's a good thing? Do you think that it's a bad thing? Do you think that Nomura could manage to pull something off like this? Or do you think that the remake will just fall and crumble? I guess we'll end up seeing. Either way though, that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to blitz that like button, subscribe, and as always, stay tuned for all things Final Fantasy. See you guys.